Hey guys, Miss Placeri here. So this week in history, we're going to look at third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. And I thought I'd show you a little infographic to give you a background um, of Thomas Jefferson. So let's look at some interesting things about him. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743 and he died in 1826. That makes him 83 years old. Um, so that was about an average age for someone during his time period. Maybe a little bit longer than some people, but Thomas Jefferson wasn't considered overly old when he died. Just about him personally, he was 6 feet tall, so he was a large man. He was from the state of Virginia, and he lived at his home in Monticello, Virginia. You can visit Monticello today. It took him 40 years to build his home at Monticello. And you can see up here that Monticello had a dome on top of it. And that dome was used as the model to build the dome on the United States Capitol. So we honor Thomas Jefferson in that way. He was an architect, so he designed buildings. He designed not only his home at Monticello, but he designed the University of Virginia, most of the buildings, the original buildings there. He also designed the state capitol building in Richmond, Virginia. So aside from being president of the United States and a politician, he was an architect. Thomas Jefferson only wanted to be remembered for three things in his life. He wanted to be remembered for writing the Declaration of Independence, which was probably his greatest achievement. He wanted to be remembered as the author of the Virginia Statute on Religious Freedom. Thomas Jefferson believed that people should be able to practice whatever religion they wanted to believe. And he wanted to be remembered as an educator and founder of the University of Virginia, which is the state university in Virginia still today. Jefferson held lots of different public offices. He was president. He was the third president of the United States. He was also vice president under the second president, John Adams. He served as George Washington's Secretary of State. He also served as minister to France. He was responsible for the alliance between the French and the United States in the Revolutionary War. He was governor of Virginia before then. He took part in the Continental Congress. And he, before the Continental Congress, was a member of the Virginia House of Burgesses, which was the state legislature in Virginia. So he had a long and distinguished career in public service, but he only wanted to be remembered for three of those things. On his gravestone, it doesn't even mention that he was president of the United States. Jefferson was a writer. He wrote over 19,000 letters that we have copies of that we can read, so we know what Jefferson thought and what he wrote about. He also wrote books. He went as far as to do his own translation of the Bible, which you can, if you go to Monticello, you can see that, where he rewrote the Bible in his own words. Thomas Jefferson was married. His wife's name was Martha, and he had 6 children with her. He also had 6 illegitimate children with a slave that he owned. Her name was Sally Hemings. Jefferson was a slave owner. He believed in slavery. He owned over 607 slaves. 6 of those were his own children. He kept his own children in slavery, and he did not free them when he died. He had his children live the rest of their life in slavery. So Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence that said all men are created equal, but on the other hand, he owned slaves and enslaved his own children. But Thomas Jefferson, probably besides the Declaration of Independence, is best known for the Louisiana Purchase, which he purchased from France. And he doubled the size of the United States by doing that. And you're going to look at the Louisiana Purchase today. He's also famous for sending Lewis and Clark on their famous expedition, which is something else you're going to read about this week. So hopefully that's a quick overview of Thomas Jefferson, gives you some background on the man. He's a really interesting figure, and I hope you enjoy looking at him this week. And I will talk to you again soon.